This is Quigg and Cassis for Apple TV in association with Macklin's Gym Marbella. We're at the press conference with Joshua and White, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the events from yesterday.
Listen, I'm not talking about Quigg Frampton until the press conference, so...
Well, I'm going to ask you questions anyway.
This has got to be in relation to...
No, but that's
Gillian
after.
White.
That's after.
Okay.
Finally over the line. So you're not completely useless.
No.
And not everyone hates you, because obviously
I've had 24 hours of praise. It's been beautiful. No, listen, I said on Sky Sports News yesterday, it's been a frustrating year for making some of the big fights, but it hasn't been through want of trying. Proud day yesterday. It felt really, really good. Felt great, and I'm pleased for Scott Quigg. Pleased for Carl Frampton, and the response has been incredible. Huge fight. Actually, probably made me realise it's a bigger fight than I may even at first thought. Thought it was massive, but the response has been huge.
Does getting this fight over the line is it like a breakthrough fight in regards to possibly making other fights that you didn't think were possible? Well, you hope so, before?
Because you hope that things work on a cycle, and you hope that others will realise the value and the interest and the demand of huge, particularly domestic fights. I think ultimately these boys are going to make a lot of money, and there's a lot of money to be made out of these huge fights. So I don't know. I think it just comes down to, at the end of the day, both fighters and both camps have got to want a fight. And in a lot of other scenarios, I know you're angling at Brooke Khan, both fighters don't want the fight. So it's how can you make it happen? It's frustrating as a promoter, because essentially you're judged on the fights that you deliver. But if the fighters don't want the fight, you can't deliver it. Quigg Frampton, both fighters wanted that fight, and in the end, both camps wanted that fight, and that's how it happened.
One of the stumbling blocks we understood, obviously, leading up to this fight being made was the choice of venue. It is going to be at the Manchester Arena, so obviously both parties comfortable with that decision.
Yeah, I'm not going to. One thing I'm not going to go into is the ins and outs of the deal. All I can tell you is that everybody's very happy on both sides with the deal. So I have nothing to say.
You can't talk about the split?
No, nothing to say.
All right, Jose.
No, this is done. The deal's done, and everyone's very happy.
This will be for both titles.
Correct.
The IBF and the WBA. Did you have to get clarification about that leading into this, whether it can be? I
spoke to the WBA, and we applied to the IBF. They had a discussion and agreed that it would be for both titles. We sent the contracts off today. It's a standard procedure. You have to, when you apply for a fight, you send the contracts to go with it, and unification. Both belts on the line.
As in regards to the 27th of February at Manchester Arena, will it be a card half filled with your fighters and half with Cyclones?
Yes.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can match Cyclone fighters with our fighters as well. You've got Conrad Cummins, you've got Anthony Cacase, you've got Josh Taylor, loads of fighters they work with as well. So I'm hoping for Ryan Burnett, of course, on our side, but I'm hoping for a little bit of a England v Ireland theme running through the card.
As in regards to chief support, with the fight obviously that big already, will it be, what sort of level of chief support?
I don't think the card, obviously it comes down to, and I hate to bore people about finances and budgets, but you have a pot of money essentially you can spend, and when there's a huge main event, that takes up the majority of that budget obviously. When there's a smaller main event, like May the 30th for All Britannia, there's a bigger card. So you're not going to see 3 world title fights, etc, etc. You're going to see a good solid card, and it's up to us, myself and Cyclone Promotions, to put together a great night of entertainment for the guys. But of course, the main feature on a night like this is the main event, rather than a card that is stacked with world title fights, because quite frankly, Quigg and Frampton want all the dough.
Ticket allocation, has it been split between the two?
Yeah, we're working on making half the arena for Frampton fans, half the arena for Quigg fans. So my Twitter's gone mad with questions, when's tickets, and the answer is we're putting together, there'll be a media tour, London, Belfast, Manchester, and tickets will go on sale around that period, probably in the next 10 days to 2 weeks' time.
So it's not going to be next week, the press conference?
We're looking at that, but also a lot of the media are going out to Klitschko Fury. on Tuesday and Wednesday. So we're just trying to get it all balanced up.
So when you look at it, like if they're splitting half the tickets, roughly 10,000 tickets each, that's not a lot at all, is it?
And this could have done 30,000. I know that, but people say to me, "Oh, why didn't you do it in a stadium?" It's February, which is, you can't go outdoors in February unless you go to Millennium Stadium. And I feel that if you go to Millennium Stadium, you need to do 50 or 60,000 to really, make it a real event. And I'm not sure whether the fight does 50 or 60,000. Some people watching this go, "What's he talking about?" Of course it does. Just using my experience in telling you that in February in Wales, I don't think this fight does 50 or 60,000. So we can be indoors, nice and warm, no rain, we're in Manchester, where I feel the fight is very relevant. Manchester or Belfast. So I think at the MEN it's going to be a very, very special night.
As in regards to Rigondeaux, he's been stripped of his WBO, not his WBA.
No, I believe he's been put into recess in WBA, which, people say, "Oh, what's going on here?" They did the same thing to Carl Froch. Actually, they stripped Carl Froch because of his inactivity. So it's not like one rule for one. This is the rules. And the WBO have stripped him completely within their rules.
Can you just clarify what in recess means to people?
Means that you're not fighting. Okay, so you're going to be put in recess until you do fight, and we're going to allow this fight, and you have to fight the winner. So what they'll say is that the winner of Quigg Frampton has to fight Rigondeaux.
Right. So the WBA super title is currently what?
Held by Scott Quigg.
Scott Quigg. So he does hold that title?
I believe so. I haven't got clarification for that from the WBA, but unless they have one world champion, and Rigondeaux's in recess, or they elevate Scott Quigg.
It's very confusing.
Not really, because you've got a guy who's not fighting.
Right.
So what are you going to do?
But as in regards to that WBA super title bout, so Quigg does hold it as far as you know now, or you're waiting for clarification?
Yeah, I guess I'm waiting for clarification. All I know is that the IBF have approved, in principle, subject to contracts, which are now with them, that the fight is a unification fight. So I don't know whether that's a decision based on the fact that Quigg is super champ, or there's just one champion because Rigondeaux is in recess.
If there's a situation where Quigg isn't elevated to super status, then does that alter the fight at all?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Okay. Well done, you.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Well done, you.
Thank you. No, it's good. I mean, it's things are coming together. Obviously, we've got Callum Smith, Rocky Fielding this weekend, which is going to be fantastic. Joshua against Dylan White here today. Going to be interesting. And
this is going out before
Fury.
that.
Yeah. So,
sure.
I think we're in a great place, and I just hope that I hope that other fighters see fights like Quigg Frampton and say, these are the kind of fights we need to make. Yeah,
he's not that bad.
Everyone can work with me, because at the end of the day, it's like, we're bringing the money. Our partners are bringing the money, so of course they're going to work with me. They probably can't stand me. I'm sure they were sitting at that table yesterday thinking, what a knob this bloke is. But it's not, who cares? It's not about that, it's about making fights. These kids are going to make a fortune. It's our obligation to make the fights for them, for the broadcasters, for the fans.
How did you get on with Barry McGuigan?
All right, really good.
Good.
I said on TV, I'm not Barry's cup of tea, and I'm not going to be on his Christmas card list. But I think everybody from both sides yesterday had a massive sense of relief. This was finally done, because the questions are going to be answered. Who's the best superman? He's going to win. Who's going to win? You're going to find out. Can you imagine the atmosphere?
Half and half.
I said to Quigg yesterday, I'm so pleased for you, mate. You get your night. I said to him, can you imagine walking out? I said, the hairs on your neck. I said, this is what we live for. And this is what we live for. I don't live for Eubank against Tony Jetta.
I'm glad you...
I was thinking about Jose Mourinho's. You haven't even asked me about that card yet. Because James went, and I was strolling around looking for my IFL interview.
But what card?
On Eubank Jetta.
Oh, yeah.
James was doing it, and I was looking for him, and I thought, what a result, he's gone home. I haven't got to talk about it. But I was thinking, Jose Mourinho's interview that he gave, where he just goes, I have nothing to say. Nothing.
Yeah.
That's the kind of interview I would have given James that night.
Really?
Yeah. Ed, what have you got to say about, nothing to say? Yeah, but what do you think? Nothing. Yeah, but nothing at all.
Not the greatest card.
Not
in the
one
world.
of my. No, card was alright in my opinion. We had Josh Rowe against Lee Wood, thought it was quite decent. Gavin McDonald was a decent fight, and Jamie Robinson against
Always
Atiq
judging
Shafiq.
the main event though.
Well, of course, it wasn't good enough. All right, listen.
Yeah.
You know, Quigg, I can spin some bullshit if needed, but no, you just turn around and you say, Jet was hugely disappointing. His bum went. He froze completely, and whether he was even good enough to start with. The fact is that was the chief support to Kell Brook against Diego Chavez. The kid was ranked in all the governing bodies. Not my finest work. Hold my hand up and say, enjoy Callum Smith against Rocky Fielding on Saturday. What can you do?
Did you watch Oliver Harrison and Rocky Fielding? That was mental. Honestly, it was.
Yes, Rocky.
Yes. No, Rocky Fielding. Come on, Rocky Fielding.
Yes, Rocky. Callum's not going to feel that harder. Obviously you're going to get some great stuff here today, but the gold will be on Thursday at the press conference at the Liver building, and it might not even be between Callum Smith and Rocky Fielding. It'll be between Joe Gallagher
and Oliver Harrison.
So,
just finally, question about Quigg Frampton. We're kind of assuming that this will be on Sky Box Office or unconfirmed.
I mean, we're going to make an official announcement on that, but obviously, you know, if Bellew Cleverly was, I think this one is. But it's obviously to make a fight like that, you've got to give guys, you know.
I don't think anyone's going to bring.
No one's. I've only had one question saying, is it on Sky Box Office? So you'll get some official announcements soon.
Right. Well, I hope it doesn't go off here today.
So do I. I'll be in the middle of it. I saw your dream that I
I did.
The fact is that I've been thinking about this. When they come head to head, right, I will be obviously in the middle. Now, the moment anyone raises a hand or pushes, this could be quite funny to show this if I do get knocked out, right? Your automatic reaction is to jump in. If you jump in and I get one, I am going to be out cold on the floor.
Yeah.
So could you have the ice and the water ready to come over and just fan me or something like that to wake me up?
Here's a question.
Go on.
If you could see them going to land and you thought the only way, if they land on each other, this fight isn't going to take place, the only thing I can do is get in the way and put my face on the line, would you do it? If it meant the fight was going to happen?
Yeah, if it meant the fight, yeah, probably I'd take one for the team. But the problem is the actual injuries. It's not a case of I could just be out for a minute. I mean, I could be out for good. You seen the side? I mean, listen, I'm not a small bloke, but I'm a pansy compared to these blokes. So, fingers crossed. I'll be talking to both fighters, and I will make sure that everybody behaves.
I look forward to it. Eddie Hearn, thanks for talking to us about Quigg and Frampton. We'll talk to you later on about Joshua and White and the rest of the card, December 12th.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Cheers.